Okay, so this is shortly after I posted my videos, a couple hours later. I did take a scalp short here, which I already locked in like, 2.5 times what I risked. I risked like a little more than 0.5%. It was a very low time frame confirmation, so I had to treat it like a scalp trade, but I mean, it ended up working out very quickly. We got a super aggressive dump. Unfortunately, though, that means that my long idea seemed significantly worse, just considering how we came down to my long idea. So I did not end up taking this yet, but I am watching price right now. We are kind of ranging after hitting the low, so if we break this range to the upside and then get a back test and see some kind of confirmation in here, then I may take a long to hedge against my short, and also we just hit my area that we've been front running all day, so this is a significant point. Looking at the order flow, we also see some shorts opening up here. CVD going down, open interest going up, that is shorts opening. Now we are starting to see some longs opening. Maybe the longs end up getting absorbed, and that might actually send us lower, which I would not mind because I'm still in a decent amount of my short, and I think my next target is going to be this blue box down here, which is a pretty far drop. And I just took another TP on my short, but yeah, again, nothing I'm going to long here. We're seeing very aggressive moves to the downside. This is a big wick, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to long this. And ideally, we continue lower. I'm hoping that we can kind of, just keep pushing down. Hopefully, we start to slow down as we approach this next support. And maybe we can find a range here that gives us some bullish signs, and maybe I can get in the long from here. But yeah, at this point, longs are a no-go. It's now the next day. I just got home from work. I've been picking profits out of this short along the way down. I locked in 3% already from a 0.6% risk, roughly. That's a pretty good trade. And yeah, now let's take a look at the price action in front of us. We clearly have a range. We're ranging sideways. And if I'm going to be looking for longs, it's either going to be, one towards the low end of the range, ideally taking out the low. That'd be, the best trade setup at this point, just, trading this local range. And the next long I'm looking for is down here. Again, this is the daily high or low. We got some support below it that I'm watching, so that is going to be another long idea. Again, based on the aggression, the way we were coming into some of these zones, I did not really look for any longs. A few more points I want to make, kind of regarding the higher time frame stuff. I would say that we have continued this structure leg right here, the 3-hour break. I would say that we have gotten a retracement and a continuation of that structure. It doesn't quite look right to me on the 3-hour, but it looks good on the 2-hour, and 2-hour is pretty close to 3 hours, so I'll consider them the same structure leg. That's usually how I do it. If it's 3-hour and 2-hour, or 2-hour and 1 hour, even sometimes 1 hour and 30-minute, depending on the situation, I can kind of mix those structure pulls together. I would say that if we break above this 2-hour lower high, there's really not much reason to think that we are going to continue down from there. I would assume at that point that we put in the higher low of the daily structure. And honestly, what I'm kind of hoping for right now, as we are taking out the high of the range, I'm hoping to get a short to continue the structure down one last time. I think if we touch this low, this will also be a valid retracement from this low up to this high. So, if we end up pulling down from here, this will be the new 2-hour lower high, which I think would be a better situation because, number one, maybe I can get along from this low if there's confirmations. But if not, I still think there's a better chance that after getting a break that there will actually be, a decent trade if we get a retrace. Just because, this high is pretty close to what I would consider my target. Again, this is, a swing point, and we do have resistance above us, so any longs that I take in here, my ultimate target is probably going to be this high, even if I'm not going to close the entire trade out there. I will probably have, between 60 to 75% of any new longs closed out if and when we get to this high. And then, if it ends up breaking past it, it ends up breaking past it, and maybe I get some runners. If we're waiting for this high to break, by the time we get a strong break, we're pretty close to the target, and there's a slimmer chance that we actually get a retrace with a good long. Still can't happen, but I would definitely prefer, again, if this scenario happens, if we come down and touch the low once more. So with that being said, I am possibly looking for a short here. We just SFP'd the high. We may get a structure break here as well, so I might get, more of a confident trade. I'm not really feeling like taking riskier trades at this point. I don't really want to throw away profits from this trade, and there really wasn't anything to trade that SFP on. It does not appear like that. Money flow put in higher highs. I would not trade any, slight momentum divs with money flow looking like this. So hopefully we get a move down here and then get a retrace so I can actually get some decent risk reward. And if that's the case, I'll be, targeting this low. I may take some more profits out of this trade if we, SFP the low and then start reclaiming it. So first off, I did not take a short yet. I missed the short. The risk reward entering like down here after we broke structure wasn't good enough. I was hoping for a retrace, and you don't always get one. We unfortunately just kind of blasted straight down. And at this point, we already lost the point of control / value area high of the range. They're kind of at the same area. And we also lost the anchored VWAP from this last significant low. And, for that reason, I think we might not get a retrace all the way back up here. I'm not really looking at that idea anymore. Instead, I'm going to look at this slightly lower time frame structure. So there is another downtrend to look at where we got, maybe a 3 to 2 minute retracement here. I don't want to quite call it a 5. It's a little too scrunched up. Possibly this structure is respected and we are starting to get a retrace. I'm hoping for a little bit higher. And if that's the case, I'll look to enter short with my invalidation, kind of above the point of control. I am no longer looking at that idea because, we didn't get any confirmations. We just kind of blasted straight through the anchored VWAP and the point of control and the back test of the range. We didn't get confirmations, so I did not take a trade. At this point, it looks like maybe we do come back up and retrace to this old range, and I don't think at this point that I'm gonna just enter a short as soon as we get up there with a stop loss up here. Just hoping that we continue down to the range. I'd rather wait a little bit and see if we get some kind of confirmation there, because if not, this is a pretty aggressive move, and we could very well come back up to the range high, even if we just SFP'd again to continue lower later. All right, so I did just enter short here. We ended up coming up to the high, took it out, we got kind of a big move above it. I wouldn't exactly call this an SFP like we saw last time, but still it was kind of a brief move above, and now we're starting to fall back down aggressively. So I entered a scalp short, a 0.5% risk again. Didn't really want to put a full percent risk on this one. I was debating on whether I wanted to enter this one. Number one, because, we didn't exactly get an SFP. We kind of got this brief move above the high. But also, as we were retracing, Market Cipher was actually looking pretty bullish. At least, a few minutes ago it was, when we were, possibly forming that nice trigger wave to anchor wave money flow direction. But it got a case of floppy VWAP. It started kind of turning away right before we got the cross, and momentum continued lower. And we eventually broke below the higher low. So, right now I may look to add to this if we continue lower, showing some follow through for this idea. And then if we get a retrace and if there's a confirmation, then maybe I would take another scalp trade, another 0.5% risk on this. But we are currently still range trading. We just took out the range high. So potentially we see another rotation to the downside. All right, it is the next morning, and my trade ideas are basically still the same. I did just take profit on my short for the first time, and I got kind of lucky with this one. I actually got really lucky. So by the time that we started retracing back up above my entry, I did de-risk it. I moved my stop loss down to about where I have it on here, and we ended up front running it. So I stayed in that trade. We dumped a little bit more. I put my stop loss into profit after that, so I think I put my stop loss right above daily open, right about there, and we didn't hit it. We came kind of close to it again when I was sleeping, but yeah, I woke up and we're down at the low end of the range. So I took some profits here, closed 33% of the trade to lock in a 1% gainer, and my original position was about this, so yeah, that was a 3-to-1. And if we come down to the range low, I'll probably close half of what's remaining, or another 33% of my initials. And, then I'll hold the rest, I guess, for if we dump, but this is more of a scalp trade. This one has a higher entry, it has a higher chance at staying open if, we continue ranging here. This one not so much, so I'm going to be more aggressive with TPing on this one. Alright, so another little update here. I took another profit on my short, and I opened up a hedge long. I think I made a mistake in my last recording. I said I locked in 1% profits. I meant 1 risk-reward profits. I only risked 0.5% on this, so when I said I locked in 1%, I meant 0.5%. And I just locked in a bit more than 0.5% with this last TP. Currently, I'm up a little bit more than 1%, and I just took a 0.5% scalp on this long, because it is a bit of a riskier entry. I mean, I'm basically trading just an SFP of the range low. Market structure is very far away from us. By the time we get up there, we're already like halfway up and we're around VWAP, so that's, nothing I would really wait for. There may be, a long if we reclaim VWAP and then kind of back test it, hold it for support before going higher. But I just decided to take the SFP long. We do have divergences on, a lot of the lower time frames. Money flow is definitely looking sketchy, so it's not the best setup, but I mean on the 2-minute money flow diverged a little bit on that last move, and we did see some shorts opening and longs closing on this move to the downside. We first saw an increase of OI with CVD going down. That means people were shorting kind of around the low, and then we saw longs close out with that last push to the downside. So there is some kind of order flow confluence I can use for this, and it's worth it to risk 0.5% to hedge against my 2 shorts at this point. If we continue lower, I'll just take more profits out of either this short or this short, and if this trade fails, then we most likely come to my next target. I'll look to TP down here, and that will be my next long idea. So price has now gotten above VWAP, and we're not quite at an area where I'd be willing to TP. We're not even at a 2-to-1 yet, and I would prefer to try and TP around a 2.5 or a 3-to-1 if I have to. If not, if there's no bearish confirmations, then I can shoot for the opposite side of the range. But at the very least, I am going to de-risk this trade now, so my stop loss is going to go to break even. Even though, based on market structure, I know that we can retrace and put in a higher low even if we come all the way back down to my entry, and that can still be valid. Even though we can do that, I don't really want to lose VWAP again. That would make me, kind of sketch for my position. So, even if this is a possibility, I'd rather just de-risk. I'm also not going to put my stop loss like super close to VWAP, because, I mean, you never know. We could kind of lose it again just to then come back up and continue up. So, yeah, just a de-risk. I don't want to lose anything on this long, and we are kind of approaching my TP area pretty quick here, so I may end up locking in some profits on this one pretty soon. And I did just take a profit here. We weren't quite at a 3-to-1, but I closed 37% of my trade to lock in the 0.5 that I initially risked. So not bad for first TP, and now I think I'm not going to TP again unless we come up to the range high. My short is pretty close to getting stopped out. My stop loss is right at my entry, but I am still definitely interested in trading this range. So, my next short idea would probably be the range high if there's confirmations. I don't think I'm gonna, just enter an SFP short if it's, a situation similar to this, especially if we continue pumping up the way that we are. Like, even if we, get a little range here and then just shoot up to this high, I don't think I'm just going to short an SFP. But if it's, a better setup, I will definitely consider something from there. Alright, I just finished recording everything before this, and I think I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to upload this tomorrow. So, yeah, clearly we got a pump. We got a pretty big pump. Both my shorts are stopped out, and I have the results over here. Short number 1, I locked in just under 3% profits. I'm rounding up because short number 2, I locked in just over 1%. So, yeah, with both my shorts plus 4%. And with this long, I so far have only locked in 1%, and I have about 2% unrealized, maybe slightly less because we are starting to dump right now. But I do not think I'm going to take any more profits on this trade until we hit this range high. We came very close, and I was thinking about TPing here, but at this point, I don't think it's worth it. And I definitely am interested in longs at this point. We did get the higher time frame confirmation. Basically, my swing idea in a way worked out the way I wanted to. We came down to the low, and then we got the break of structure right here. I never actually moved this line down, but that was the 2-hour lower high. But the unfortunate part is that we got such an aggressive break that we are now, basically inches away from the range high from my target. So, we are starting to pull back. I am hopeful that we will continue pulling back, and either we retrace to this refined zone, or maybe there is some kind of confirmation wherever the higher low is going to come in. If we're going to front run this area, hopefully there's a long trade in that zone, because I would like to get more long. I'm not, in a very big long at this point. This was only a scalp. It was meant to be a hedge, and I was hoping to get another position. I never really did. I wasn't loving the price action today. I was hoping for something better. I probably could have, looked for some scalps on some of these moves, but I didn't. But at least I'm in a long. I can't complain too much. So, yeah, I mean, those are my plans. And maybe I continue this with another video covering my trading for the rest of the week. But at this point, this video is getting kind of long. So, I don't want to be making 30-minute videos because people start to lose interest, I think. So, yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. I appreciate all the support. And I'll see you all in the next video.